Hey future data enthusiast, welcome back to Guide Coachings, the go-to channel for all things data driven. I'm your guide Mozam Ali and welcome you to our Python programming tutorial. Today we are diving deep into three foundational concepts that from the backbone of the Python programming. In this tutorial we are going to see how you can define a class, how you can use a class, what is init functions, what are global variables and what are local variables, how you can define a concrete method, how you can use it. We are basically going to see each and every aspect of classes in Python, and believe me, it is going to be very easy. We are going to see how you can create objects. Whether you are just starting your coding journey or seeking to expand your Python knowledge, buckle up as we embark on an enlightening exploration. Get ready to demystify these essential Python concepts and take your coding skills to a new heights. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Why? Because here we don't just analyze data, we transform it into actionable insights together. By subscribing, you are not just keeping up with the latest insights, you are joining a family passionate about leveraging data for success. Okay, now we are quickly going to the topic and we are starting with the first concept. Okay, so in this tutorial, we are basically going to work on three important aspects, that is creating a class, how you can create a class, what is class, and so basically I'll give you an idea before we start. Okay, so coding classes are, plays a very vital role. Whether when you are defining a variable, you write variable is equals to that value. When you want to write a block of code, you will be defining a variable which we call as function, and we define it def, and then we give the name of that particular function. Okay, and we write the block of code inside it. Okay, then if you want to make a class is a combination of attributes. Okay, so let's suppose we have students, so students will have same type of attributes. We call it attributes or the qualities, such as they will have a roll number, they will have a name, they will have age, gender, they will have marks, they will have subject might be different, age might be different, name might be different, gender might be different, but these are the attributes which are common in each and every student. So we will be creating a class. Okay, so that is how we are going to discuss what is class. We have done that. Then after that we are going to use it, we are going to see it practically as well. But before going to on the practical window, I just want to set up the context, how a class is defined and why there is a need of defining or declaring a class. So when you want to store these attributes in some variable, you cannot store age, name, gender, and how is, are they eligible to vote or not, are they eligible to take admission or not, have they completed their graduation. All these things you need to validate. So all these validations you can write inside a function. You can create different functions, you can define variables, and then you can create a package of it and you will define it as a class. So whenever you define it as a class, you can use uh, how we are going to use it, we'll see it. Okay, but you will define that class and then you will use those properties and those functions and those values according to your need. Then in that same line we are going to discuss about init function, why init function is important, how it is used, and why we declare it. Okay, then last but not least we are going to talk about a very important topic, that is local variable and global variable. So variables we have seen, now we are going to see a concept of local and global variables. Okay, let's quickly jump onto the practical window and let's start with the first topic, that is creation of class. So for creation of a class in Python, we just need to write class. Okay, and then we will give the name as we want. So we are creating a class for employee, so I will just write class employee and then I'll hit enter. Now I am inside the class. Now I will be defining a variable. Okay, so I will be writing as age is equals to 18. Okay, and then I will get out. Okay, once I hit enter twice, I will be out of the class, and this is how a class is defined. That's all. This is how you will define a class, and the variable is defined. So to define a class, you will be writing like this. Okay, class definition, this is how you will write it, and this is your variable. Declaration of variable. Okay, variable. Okay, now I will hit enter, and now I am creating a class, because once we create a class, we need to define an object to access that particular class. You cannot use directly the name employee. You need to create a object of employee. Okay, because employee is a class, it's a generalized term. No, you cannot call your employee by saying employee. You may have thousands of employees, you may have hundreds of employees. So for that particular reason, you need to create a specific employee, that Mohan, please come here, Russell, please come here. So I will be creating an object. That is what we call it as object. So object hold the specific properties, specific attributes related to that particular employee. So I will be declaring an object declaration. Okay, we call it object declaration. Okay, then we will be defining as object Russell, or I will just write as Russell, and then I will put equals to, and then I will write employee. Okay, and then I will give open and curly open and like angular brackets. Why? I'll explain you. Okay, but before that, just remember that whenever you are writing a class, you will be writing like this. Okay, class name, and then you will be writing the object. Okay, the object you have created. Now you have created a specific object. Okay, and now if I am going to print this object, how I can print? I will simply write print, and then I'll copy it and I'll paste it over here, and then I will execute it. So see this, what it is printing? It is printing which class object it is. Okay, so if I want to get the value of it, I will be writing dot age. So this is the variable which is inside this class. So I have created an object of this class, and then I am using dot, and then I am giving the name of that particular variable, and that is how I will be getting the value as 18. Okay, so this is how you will declare a variable, and then this is how you will use a variable. This is how you will create a class. This is how you will create an object. You will be creating an object declaration. This is how you will declare an object, and you will use it. Okay, now why we will see that why we have written the angular curly bracket angular brackets over here. Okay, so now this is done, and if I want to add, now moving on to our next part, that is if I want to have a function inside it, how I can use a function. Okay, so if you want to have a function inside it, you will write def, and then you will be writing as let's say check, or let's say display. Okay, display, and here I have written it like this, and then I will say put the way we define function. That is how we are going to use a function. Okay, so here I am writing def display, and then colon, then I am inside the function, then I will write print, and then here I will be writing your age is like this. Okay, and then I will be closing it. Okay, that is how we have defined. Generally we define it, but in class we need to write self over here, and we can basically define anything, but most of the time we write self, and most of the coding platforms suggest self to be written over here. Now here whatever I will be doing, self dot, I will be writing age. Okay, that is how you will be displaying it Okay, now this age has been defined over here, so I am just using the particular same thing over here. Now see this, this method is printing a value, so I don't need to put it inside the print. Okay, this is again a very important thing. This value was there only, so I wanted to print it, so that is why I have used print method over here. But I don't want to print this method because this method holds print itself inside it. Okay, so what I will be writing over here, I will be writing Russell dot display. Okay, once I write it and I execute it, I will be getting your age is equals to 18. That is how you will be using it. Okay, now talking about self, why we are using self is a calling of this particular variable object. Now we are discussing, whenever a class comes, we talk about object. It is not a variable anymore. Okay, it looks like a variable, but it is not. It is a object. Okay, so this object is going to be actually defined over here, and this method is called. Now on the similar line, whenever we are declaring any variable, let's suppose if you are taking a variable as over here as name. Okay, name. So whenever a variable comes, you will be writing as your age is this, and then you will be writing slash n, your name is equals to this, is equals to this. And now this is done. Okay, see this is done. Now if you are executing this, will this execute? No, because here it is, the parameter is there. So if I execute it, if I execute it, I am getting missing one optional positional argument is required. So once I put as Russell, okay, so and I execute it, now it is showing me the value, but I have not used the name, so I will write self dot name. Okay, this is how I will be writing. Yeah, see, it is giving me that you forgot comma, so I have given the comma. What else I have got? Self dot name. Okay, age is this, print your age is this. Employee object has no attribute name. Okay, so display I have added it later, that might be the issue is causing. So what I'll do, I'll just create employee one over here, and then I will write employee one, okay, over here, and then I will execute it. Okay, so basically I just want to show you that this is how you will be defining an object. Basically it might be, there might be some issue, I am not able to identify it right now, but this is how you will be writing a variable, this is how you will be giving the values to it, and this is how you will be defining it. You can use it, okay, and you will get the output. Okay, so now talking about the other things. Okay, so what I will do, I will go to the global and local variable. Now see this is your global variable. Okay, this is your global variable. Okay, this is your global variable, which is defined at a class level. Why at a class level we are calling? Because it is not inside any it is not inside any particular function. That is why it is called as global variable. Okay, that is why it is called as global variable. And now this name, so what I will do, I will write self dot name is equals to name. Okay, that is how I will define it. Okay, so see this is now became my local variable. This is my local variable. Yeah, That is the reason it is not identifying it. Okay, I showed you the error what was there before I have defined it. So if I go like this, it is showing employee object has no attribute name. Okay, so that issue was causing because I have not defined it locally. If I define it locally, now it will be working as I wanted. Okay, what change? Okay, I'll just put a tab self. I have defined it, and yeah, okay, basically you have seen how it works. Okay, again I just need to delete this. So this is your local variable, this is your global variable. The variable now identification, a variable which is defined inside a function is called as a local variable, and a function which is defined outside or inside a class, this is again inside a class, and this is again inside a class, but this variable is inside this particular method. So that is the reason it is going to give as a local variable, and this is you are going to be a global variable. Now we have spoken about a function, how you can define a function, how you can define a class, how you can use. Now we are going to see how you are going to define init function. Okay, so init function basically is going to be a self-calling function which you will be using it whenever you want to call itself. Okay, so if I declare a class as class employee, and then I will put here, and then I will write def, and then I will write double underscore init, and then double underscore, and then I will write like this, and then I'll go inside it. Okay, now here I can write it as print this function is called automatically. Okay, now we have seen in the previous example that I am creating a variable, I am creating an object. Okay, so what I am doing here, I am creating a object as Mohan, and then equals to, and then employee, and then over here I was writing like this, and then I was writing like Mohan dot init, and then I will be writing like this, and then this is how I can call a function. We have seen that in the previous example, but here as this function is defined itself, like once you define a variable, once you define an object, okay, once you define an object here, this function will be automatically called. Now here we just need to write self. Okay, and if I execute it, this function is called automatically. I have not used anything, I have not done anything, I have just declared my Mohan function over here, and it is showing me this function. Now if I define a Russell is equals to employee again, and if I execute it, it is getting automatically called. So this function will get automatically called as and when a object of a class is created, and this init will be a default name for any employee function. You must have seen other examples if you know other languages. That is the same functionality which we call as constructor in other languages, but here it is not constructor, it is initialization variable, initialization of function, which will be calling itself by once you declare a variable, object. So here we have defined an object, so this object sits over here, and then this method is called, and then this object will be, this output will be displayed. Okay, now we have covered that part as well. So if I want to use our basic example, that if employee's age is greater than or less than equals to, then he is eligible to vote or not, that also we can create over here. We are going to see that last example, and then we will conclude our session for today. Okay, so what I will do, I will write class space employee, employee. Okay, then I will be going inside it. Okay, then I will be writing def, then a double underscore in it, and then double underscore, and then I will be writing like this, and then I will be calling it as print as employee initialization method initialization, or this is default method. Okay, that is how I want to call this. I will close this, I will come out of it, and then I'll hit tab. Now I am inside it. I will be creating a function like def check. Okay, then I will give age over here. I'll give age over here. Once I give age, I need to check it out. Okay, so here I need to write one more thing, that is, so this is, if I am not, no, one more concept I just want to highlight it. If I am not giving a method a parameter, we call this thing as parameter. Okay, so these are the parameters. If I am not giving any parameter, it's going to take as self as a parameter, that is the default one. Okay, now if I want to give argument or parameter, we can give it like this, and then I will be defining it. So once I write colon over here, I'll hit enter, self dot. Now I can write anything over here. I can write mega is equals to age. That is initialization. That is how you are initializing it to be used, that particular value inside your function, because this function, this value is coming when you will call this method. Okay, it is not compulsory, it is not mandatory to call this method. You can define a variable, you can define an object, and you can just keep it, or you can use this method as well. Or if you have more than two methods, like if I'll write it like print, this is check method. Okay, this is check method called. Okay, that is why. Okay, and then I will go out, and then I will create another method, that is check2. Okay, check2 simply, and then I will give as name, and then here I will give name, and then I can give call is as self. Okay, now see, and here as well I will write like this, and I will, okay, I will come out, and then I will define Russell is equals to employee, and then I will shift, and then shift enter. So this is a default method called. Okay, so this default method is called. I have not called this method right now. Now if I want to call that particular method, I will do what I will do, Russell dot, and then if I hit if I hit, where it is, yeah, shift plus tab, this is the definition I am going to get. Okay, so what exactly this function is doing. So if I want to write something inside that particular function, I will be writing like this function checks the age of employee, and then I will put, and then I will, once I put my cursor over here, and then if I do C, and then shift tab, it will, this is going to give the basically name, and then if I use check and then shift tab, so it is giving me the description about it, check function. Okay, now if I am going to use it, and if I give the age as 38, so see this 30 age, this method is called. Now one thing which I was talking about is age. Okay, so this age initialization is happening over here, and this is going to mega self dot mega. This is another variable which is we are going to be defining. This is mandatory step, we are not doing it for fun. Okay, now here this self dot mega is again called, and this is how the variable value is initialized. Now if I call the other function, you just see, if I call the another function or with the same variable, I'm calling with the same object with the same anything, everything is same. I am just changing the method name and I am giving as Russell. Okay, so this is how I am giving, and if I'm clicking on execution, see this. So once I define it, this method is called. Once I define Russell.check, this method is being called, and once I declare this, once I call this method check2, the check2 method is called. Okay, now see this is my local variable, so it is working locally. See here I have assigned it age, so it is working as age. Here I have assigned it as a name, so it is working with a name. Okay, that's all for today. I think I have covered all the things which I wanted to show you, and the video is getting very long, so I will cut it over here. We'll see rest of the part. Whatever is left, you can, if you have any points, you can write me a comment. If you like the video, please subscribe it and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever we post a new video. If you have any questions, any queries, or any doubts regarding the topic which we have covered today, you can write me a comment and we will be discussing it into our next session. That's all for today. Thank you.